Hey, what's up guys, it's Mason here. I'm going over the parable of the talents in Matthew 25, verse 14 to 30. I'm doing ESV today, a little bit easier just to go through, and then we'll talk about it. Should be a quick and easy video. So I'm going to start reading verse 14 in Matthew chapter 25. And this is the parable of the talents. For it will be like a man going on a journey who called his servants and entrusted to them his property. To one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, to another 1, to each according to his ability. Then he went away. Verse 16, he who had received the 5 talents went at once and traded with them, and he made 5 talents more. So also he who had the 2 talents made 2 talents more. But he who had received the 1 talent went and dug in the ground and hid his master's money. So a talent is like a bag of gold. I think believe that it's about 6,000 denarii at the time, which would be like a month or 2 of labor. So it's a lot of money for someone to be holding. And we just learned that one that received 5 talents went at once and traded with him, made 5 more talents. So he had 5 bags, and then came back with another 5. So he doubles the money, right? And then he who had 2 talents made 2 more. So he also doubled his. But then the other person who received 1 dug in the ground and hid his master's money. Verse 19, now after a long time the master of those servants came and settled accounts with them. And he who had received the 5 talents came forward, bringing 5 talents more, saying, Master, you delivered to me 5 talents. Here I have made 5 talents more. Verse 21, his master said to him, well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful over a little. I will set you over much. Enter into the joy of your master. Verse 22, and he also, who had the 2 talents, came forward, saying, Master, you delivered to me 2 talents. Here I have made 2 talents more. His master said to him, well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful over a little. I will set you over much. Enter into the joy of your master. Verse 24, he also, who had received the 1 talent, came forward, saying, Master, I knew you to be a hard man, reaping where you did not sow, and gathering where you scattered no seed. So I was afraid, and I went and hid your talent in the ground where you have what is yours. Verse 26, but his master answered him, you wicked and slothful servant. You knew that I reap where I have not sown, and gather where I scattered no seed. Then you ought to have invested my money with the bankers, and at my coming I should have received what was my own with interest. So take the talent from him and give it to him who has the 10 talents. For to everyone who has will more be given, and he will have an abundance. But from the one who has not, even what he has will be taken away. And cast the worthless servant into the outer darkness, in the place there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. If you think about it, it's like the Lord giving you, he calls it a talent, it's called a talent, it's money. But let's say the Lord does give you a talent, right? Like whether that be knowledge at your workplace or like an ability to do something great. The Lord gives you this talent, this ability. He's given you this ability and this talent to do something good. And instead you are afraid. And instead you sit there and do nothing with this talent and this ability that God's given you. He's given you the ability to do whatever it is in your life, whether it be with your job, with your family, with loved ones, at your church. He's given you the ability to do this act or use the knowledge that you have for good, and instead you do nothing with it. It doesn't matter how much he's given you, or how much you've given back, right? Because the acts aren't what matter. It doesn't matter that this person was given 5 talents and then brought back 5 more. He could have brought back 1 more, and he still would have shown that he had done something with the talent that the master has given him. The Lord gives you an ability to do something. Do not squander it. Do not allow Satan to take over and tell you, oh, you can't do that, you're too anxious. Oh, you can't do that, you're not worth it. Oh, you can't do that. That's a little too hard for you to do. I think you should sit at home and watch Netflix all day. You shouldn't go up to that person in church and ask if you can volunteer or ask if you can go somewhere that you're really led to be in. Oh, you feel as if the Lord is bringing you towards the children's ministry, or you feel like you're being called and the Lord is bringing you to the ministry. However, you're too scared to take that first step. Well, then you're the person that's taken one talent, hit it in the ground, and done nothing with it. My greatest fear is going up to heaven and Him looking at me and telling me that I haven't done enough. Or not that I haven't done enough, but that He's given me the ability to do so much more and I squandered it. We're here on earth in this worldly world here, we're here to praise Him and to preach good news. So why wouldn't we want to use the abilities that God's given us to continue to preach around us? To be an aura of goodfulness, and if somebody looks at you, they can tell. And there's a reason that people can almost instantly tell if you're a religious person, that you're a faithful person. There's a reason that Christians give off a certain presence when you walk in the room. It's because you're different. He's sitting there knowing that you can, and He knows, and He's given you this ability, and He's given you this talent. And Satan's sitting on your other shoulder saying, hey, you can't do that. That's too hard for you. You shouldn't even try that. That's too difficult. Don't do that. Don't try it. For you, it depends on who you listen to, right? Are you going to listen to Satan, the one telling you can't do something? Or are you going to listen to God, the God who's given you the ability to do that exact thing? And then what are you going to do with it? Also, the person that has been given one talent, that person had zero faith. Because if you think about it, if he had faith, he would do something with the money, right? If he had faith in himself or faith in his master, because why would the master give him that talent or that ability or the talent bag of money if he didn't even think that that servant was going to be able to make the money back? The master had faith in him by giving him a talent, and the servant had zero faith in himself and zero faith in what the master thought of him. And this can be related back to our own lives, right? So if I feel led to be somewhere in the church, I feel God is calling me to that ability. That means God has faith in me and has given me the ability to do so because He knows that I can do it. Because He'll never give you more than you're actually capable of. He knows you. He knows the count of every hair on your head. He knows you so well. It knows everything that you will possibly do. So He knows that what He gives you the ability to do, you can do. So if you feel called or led in a certain area of life, then that is God giving you the ability to do that, right? Whether it be in ministry or in work, whether it's going into management or going into a higher calling, or even if it's just going to the first Bible study with somebody that you've never met before, or a group that you've never met. You've been called, you feel like you've been called to go to this Bible study group, but you don't know anybody there and you're super nervous. Have faith. Have faith that God has shown this to you, especially if you've been asking and praying for it. Have faith God's shown that to you because He knows that you're able to do it, and have faith that you will have a good time and meet new people that are godly. And that's just a totally different example, but in the workplace as well. So if you're wanting to go to management, but you don't know if you can do it or not, have faith God's given you that ability, especially if you feel led in that. God's given you that ability and that talent to do so. So have faith in Him because He's having faith in you. And that's pretty much all I have today for the talents. This is such a good reading. Totally read this if you have time today. Just kind of mull over it in your own head and think about, is there something that God's given me the ability to do that I have not yet? Is there something that I'm kind of standoffish about? God's given me this talent to do so, but I don't want to bring it up at church because I don't want to be that person, or I don't want to ask because I'm a little nervous to speak to someone new. God's given you this ability or this talent. Don't squander it. He knows what you can do. He would not give you something that you can't do. I've got a Luke reading series that I'm doing, and it is me going through every chapter of Luke. It has some facts in it, but really it's just to replace a Bible study because I don't have anybody doing a Bible study with me right now. So I'm going through Luke, and you guys are my Bible study. So if you can watch those for me, give me some feedback, comment what verses you liked, anything like that. I'll put it on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and then YouTube here. So if you can look at that, if you can do that, if you can comment on that, if you can let me know what you think about the verses. I'm really just reading it, maybe putting a little bit of facts in there. Other than that, it's really just like a short Bible study that you can maybe listen to as you're on your way to work, or while you're eating dinner or something like that. So thank you guys for listening, and I'll see you guys next time.